I have been holding back the secret to success for many years. I finally found out what it was.
Oh, really?
I didn't want to share it with anybody, but I'm going to share it with you today.
It's a good day to
I'm
do
gonna share
that.
it with you today.
Okay.
Work. Bust your butt. Get up before everybody, go to sleep after everybody, and bust your butt. That's it. Listen, I mean, there's an old saying that's really important. A lot of people screw up negotiations because they keep telling you this. I need a job, I need this, I need investment. But there's a really great saying. 20% of the people don't care about your problems. The other 80% are really happy that you have them, right? So make sure you don't tell everybody your damn problems. I got my own problems. What are you going to do when you get it?
Yeah. So that's why when you see people like athletes and lotto winners that 3 years after the league or they win the lotto, they're bankrupt because the athlete was being the best physical specimen. They knew they were trying to win a ring, but they didn't know what to do with the money.
Yeah.
So the lotto winner didn't expect this windfall. So a lot of people don't know their why. Are you doing it for yourself because society tells you, because your mother locked you in the closet and beat you for 12 years and told you this is what a successful person is? Like, or because you want to impress a whole bunch of people on Instagram that you really don't care about? Like, what are you doing it for? What's your why and what's the line that you're willing to draw in the sand? People just have no idea what they want to do.
Yeah. We've been taught that all our lives as kids growing up, you need money to make money, and you absolutely do not. My favorite stat that I show is that whether it's Forbes or Inc. Top 1,000 wealthiest people in the world, over 60% of them are self-made men and women. That means they were broke. And if you needed money to make money, then they should never get on the list, because everybody on the list with money would never fall off the list, right? Or we see people like lotto winners and athletes 3 years out of the league of making $100 million, we see them bankrupt. So obviously they had money, but they didn't exercise what's more important, the power of broke. So
I took 10 t-shirts, literally 10 t-shirts for 2 years, because that's all I had was those 10 t-shirts and that money to make those 10 t-shirts with this name called Fubu on it. And I went to every video set I could. And I went to 40 video sets in those 2 years. And out of those 40 video sets, I got those 10 t-shirts on 10 different video people in just 10 videos. One was a dancer, one was a rapper, and I would take them back afterwards and take them to another video set. So I got kicked off of 30 video sets, but the 10 made my brand a nationally recognized brand because those videos kept playing. And guess what? All I had was 10 t-shirts and I was a waiter at Red Lobster. That's the power of broke.
I was raised in the most amazing city in the world, and it's the one that gave me my mentality and my hustle and my grind. When you can see that a kid wants to be a shark just as much as an athlete or an actress now, you know that you're making a change, and you know that you're passing this baton on to our future generation.
When I was 6 years old, I was in first grade, and I realized when the boys like the girls, you know how they show them, they try to knock their teeth out, right?
Yeah.
So I figured there's got to be a way I can make a profit off of this. So I would scrape the paint off the pencils and paint the names of all the prettiest girls in school on the pencils. I'd say to the guys, you just buy this box of pencils from me, you can sit with the girls at lunch and give them all the pencils and get to talk to them. Then the boys would try to knock my teeth out. But then I found out about this word called vanity. I found out the girls would pay 2 times the amount of money for the same exact pencils with their names on it. So I started selling the pencils to the girls.
That's fantastic. You cut out the middleman.
Exactly. Yeah. And by the way, I was stealing the pencils from the guys, so my cost of goods was 0.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic.
I am now giving you power. Here you go. You don't need, like, every single person in this room has had adversity and still going through adversity. And it's only the difference of what we were able to negotiate in our lives that have made us more successful or less successful for other people. But people think it's only a transactional thing like you see on Shark Tank. No, when you're negotiating, it is 3 processes to it. It is number 1, creating an influence. Number 2, the negotiation, and we get into how to negotiate. And number 3, how do you value this relationship afterwards? Because sometimes the business won't work out, but we're going to do another business together, or I'm going to recommend you to somebody else. Whatever. So, but people are so transactional.
Every single product, every single brand, service, or whatever, you built some form of a community first. And because you want people to talk about your brand when you're not in the room. You know, you want people to be ambassadors and go out there and share the information. And they're only going to get that when they have this one-on-one connection with you, not when they've been serviced by a provider who's trying to, work for 10 other people at the same time. So it's all about building community, building brand. And that's what people do. I mean, I call Fubu the first hashtag of clothing, right? But that's what you're doing today on Instagram and on social media. You have some people out there that have, 10,000 really amazing followers. You have some people out there who have 2 million followers that will never buy from them. Right?
Like, listen, when I'm calling Mark Cuban, When I want to get together with Mark Cuban, I know never to call him. He doesn't pick up the phone, but he'll answer an email. I don't take it personally. When he did the interview with his book, he did it over text because I know that I'm making his life easy and I'm working with him the way that he works with people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you walk in the room, there's body language you can look at. There's other ways. When people say no, do you ever say, well, how can I make this easy for you? What are the hurdles that you're having right now? When can I return with it? Is this totally not for you?
Yeah.
People usually just get offended. And they said no, right?
They take it personal.
They take it personal.
Yeah.
You know, I like to tell people what a friend of mine told me. You know, if you don't want to go out there and you don't want to start your own business or invest in somebody else, the best I like the market. The market's going to go up. It's going to go down. I expect this thing to go down in about another 8 months to a year. But my friend told me, he said, you know, I don't invest in anything that if it went away that I would care about. I only invest in things that if they went away, it would hurt my life. Instagram would change my life if it went away. Uber would change my life if it went away. You know, I love investing. One of the companies I work with and I invest in is called Shopify. Everybody who ever has a store, if you see retailers
Shopify's
dying
huge.
and everybody puts up a Shopify account, I think I bought it at 28. It's at 300 today, right?
Listen, if you're making, if an average person in this country is making $35,000 a year, well, if every single time you go down to your favorite coffee spot when you get to work, you spend $5 then, and then during your 2 o'clock, crash, you spend another $5. That's $10. Times that by 5 days a week. We're not even talking about weekends, right? That's $50.
Yeah.
Times that by a month. That's 4 times 50. That's $200. Times that by 12, that becomes $2,400. The $2,400, if you have to make money, you're gonna net $2,400. You'd have to make $4,000 to make the $2,400. You're only making $35,000 a year. You just spent 12% of your salary on coffee.
A lot of people want to have a shortcut or cut things out, or they just think, I'm going to gather as much money as I can. I'm going to leverage everything. And day one, they have not sold anything, but yet they've invested all their money. Now, while they're figuring out all their mistakes, they're chewing into that money. And then all of a sudden they turn around and they have 7 years worth of bad credit. They lost all their friends. They spent a lot of time, but now they're really smart, but the education costs them more. Remember, a true entrepreneur takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I love using the gambling reference. I like to say, don't go to Vegas if you've never played blackjack and start off at the blackjack table with $1,000 a hand. What do you think is gonna happen?
There's an old thing the car salesman used to do. They used to look at someone when somebody comes in the door and they see how the person's talking. They would sell a car off of a couple of different senses: sight, sound, taste, feel, whatever the case is. So it would be the same red Corvette. If you walk in and you're talking like about sight, they'd be like, do you envision yourself driving down a winding road with the leaves falling all around you and your hair blowing in the air? If you're about feel, they'd be like, do you feel the engine when you're driving down the road, you're shifting the gears?
Yeah.
Their smell, can you smell that rich leather? And the fall leaves, New York just blowing by you, and they're about sound. Hear the engine roaring, the speakers, the Bose systems. And now when you're communicating with people on social media, you can see how they talk. If you ever communicate with me, I'm a visual person because I'm dyslexic, right? So there's various different ways that you can communicate, with people. And when you're communicating the way that they are and you're seeing what's best for them, they'll give you the world. Right, and then of course you got to nurture the relationship after.
A lot of people that we can't invest in, we don't invest in, we can't invest in them. They're not structured to take an investment. They don't have P&Ls, they don't have proper accounting, they don't have proper legal and structure. So no matter how many sales or whatever they've been doing, they can't take in the capital, right? Or they've set it up the wrong way. They'll say, listen, the company's named, whatever the case is, because that's the name of my daughter. And I'd be like, well, but you didn't clear the trademark. They'd be like, that's the name of my daughter. I can do whatever I want. I'd be like, well, then my next son's going to be named BMW and my next daughter's going to be named, Apple. You can't do that. So a lot of times the structure is not set up. But what I do look for when I see good companies is, number one, the operator. Who's the person behind it? Have they failed a good amount of times, and do they understand what they're doing? Number two, do they know who their customer is? Can they say, my customer is
females from 30 to 35 who are health conscious, because if you don't know who your customer is, you're taking my money and you're using it as tuition to find out who your customer is. And then what is the product, and is there scalability? Sometimes the product is so small of a market that you don't want a partner. You're only going to go to X amount of dollars, and you want me calling you every day asking where's my money? So those are the three things that I really look for in companies. I'm African American, I'm short, I'm dyslexic, I can't play a sport, I got left back, my father wasn't around after 10 or 12 years old, I never went to college, I don't have a formal education, I didn't know anything about this industry, but yet I'm here. And if I can do it, anybody in the world can do it. Anybody in the world can do it.